Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Welcome to Our Human Sustainability. All right, welcome back, OHS community. Today I am going to get vulnerable with you. I'm full on addicted to my phone, and it's just getting absolutely out of control. I can feel myself reaching for my pocket or reaching on the table for my phone at all times. I get distracted during meetings and even when I'm sitting with my friends at dinner or when we're hanging out. It's bad. So today's episode is what I am doing to combat phone addiction. The first step is accepting that none of this is new. Gary Vaynerchuk frequently posts a photo of a group of men that are on a subway reading the newspapers and then a group of kids on the same subway all over their phones, just showing you that the battle for attention has always existed. And really, humans have been addicted to attention since the beginning. From the beginning of time, it was the oracle, the speaker they were addicted to, and then they were addicted to the written word, and then eventually down the road, they were addicted to radio and to the television, and now, here we have it, the smartphone. But the smartphone may be the most powerful addiction out of all the other addictions combined. The average person right now is spending over 3 hours a day on their telephone, and I think that number is a little light. And could you imagine back in the day spending 3 hours a day on a newspaper? It's a little bit much. We all have the Screen Time app, and I'm absolutely terrified every single time I open it up to see really how much time I've been spending on my phone. I challenge you to take a peek at your Screen Time app and see how much screen time you have today and comment on it below. What is worse about your phone is that it's almost socially acceptable to be on the device while you're talking to somebody or during a business meeting. If you busted out a newspaper in the middle of a meeting, you'd get a lot of dirty looks, but we oftentimes slowly check our phones, and a lot of times if you're in a meeting and you see somebody checking their phone, you don't even really notice it or don't really care. You just let it go because you've done it yourself. Your phone distracts you from work and from your relationships, and it's time to take our lives back. Ever since I watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, I've been hyper aware of what I've been doing in terms of phone time. Now, don't get me wrong, the smartphone might be the absolute greatest invention in the history of mankind in terms of a practical use. But it's the dark side that has me so worried. Just walk down the street and see all the people on their phones, or go to a restaurant and see everybody sitting with their friends and family while they're also on their phones. Matt D'Avella on YouTube talks about the twitch, and it's that ping in your brain that makes you want to reach for your phone at the table or reach for that phone in your pocket, or if you're away from your phone for a period of time, you feel the need to check it real quick. What I miss, what alerts have I not seen? What have I not scrolled on Instagram recently? What Twitter news just broke? It's that twitch in your brain. And ever since he said that, it's really something I've thought about and I've been very conscious of. So just like cutting sugar, which is almost very impossible for us, and that's a whole nother podcast topic for a whole nother day, cutting your phone can be equally as hard. So this is what I'm doing to change. First, I deleted all of the worst apps that I use. I'm talking the Facebooks, the Twitters, the LinkedIns, everything that I use that I normally check, for no reason but to just have something to do. I deleted them all off of my phone. So it forces myself to be on a computer to check any of that stuff or to use any of that stuff for things like pushing out this podcast. The next thing I did was I removed all of the notifications off of my phone. So the only alerts that I get current day are text messages and phone calls. That's it. And this alone combats for the fact that we get 75% of our notifications being garbage. I mean, you think you get an alert from Facebook, but it's just somebody you've never talked to going live. It's crazy. But this still hasn't been enough to really help us overcome our phone addiction. So my wife and I did something even different. This is one of the best purchases that we've made in months, and we just call it our phone jail. You can get it on Amazon. It's essentially meant to be put into the kitchen to help you from eating cookies or candies, whatever else you might be addicted to. And what I'm seeing a lot of people using it for right now is just a spot to put their phone away in. So because our entire life is mapped out in our calendars, we know that when we need intense times of productivity or really to focus during our days of work, we will both put our phones in phone jail for an hour or two at a time or 30 minutes at a time to make sure that when we are working, we're focused 100% and we're working on what we're supposed to be doing. It's just too easy to be distracted nowadays to grab Instagram, to go shopping, to look on Facebook in the middle of a meeting or in the middle when you're supposed to be working on something. And when our phones are away, our productivity skyrockets. It's crazy. And don't even get me started on nighttime usage. I am the worst in terms of grabbing my phone at 7:30, 8, going into bed, and then just being on it for the next 2, 3, 4 hours during a time I told myself I was going to go to bed early. So now I'm putting my phone in jail for between 7, 8 o'clock at night, and I don't let it out of jail until the next day, like 5, 6 in the morning. My Fitbit has a silent alarm, so I don't have to worry about waking up, and it also helps me avoid having to do the dreaded snooze button because I can't physically touch the phone, I gotta get out of bed. So I really am pulling out all the stops in terms of phone addiction at this point. And a nice little bonus tip for everybody. This is from my favorite book that I've read in 2020, The 5 a.m. Club. It talks about the 90-90-1 phase. Essentially, you block off your calendar so the first part of your day, the first 90 minutes are spent on the absolute most important thing that you need to be 100% focused on. And during that time period, you take all the distractions away, the television, the phone, the music, everything, kids if you got them, and you just invest your 90 minutes a day during the first 90 minutes of your day, 100% focused, working as hard as you possibly can on that one thing. If you do this, you will have a massive competitive advantage against everybody else because you will get more done in that first 90 minutes than most people get done in an entire day, and it's just because you have no distractions and 100% focus. Human sustainability is under attack, not to mention the neck pain I have from constantly looking down at my phone all day long. This addiction may be unlike anything we have ever seen in our entire lives. We don't really know the true effects because it's only been around for just less than a decade, really. I hope this video reaches you if you're anything like me and allows you to start at least being aware of things that you're doing and putting a plan in place like I have. We're all in the same boat. Let's get through this together. Not a scientist or a doctor, just a normal guy in a quest to better himself.